and welcome to Crazy the Book Slayer. Today we're doing a spring catch-up. No, that's not the word I'm looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Wrap-up. Spring wrap-up. I have been finishing up my last term at uni, so I've been really busy, so I haven't really had time to read that much. So I thought I would just like dump them all into one group. Right, we're starting with the first book that I really liked. It's The Precious Bane by Mary Webb. It is about a woman. No, she's not a woman, she's a young girl. Teenager. God, this is so hard, I always say this. She's a teenager. She has a hair lip. She's born with a hair lip, and because it's in rural England in the beginning of the 1800s, they thought that she was marked by the devil. And her mother keeps commenting that her hair leapt over the road while she was pregnant with her. So the entire book is magical realism. It's about how she behaves and are perceived in a society where they believe in witchcraft and devils and changelings and all these things. And the book is quite a lot about social norms, your place in society, and I liked it a lot. It's different from other books that I read from that time. Mary Webb is an amazing author, I say without actually having read anything else, but I really like this book. It's a family drama, magical realism family drama, and it's so well written, it's amazing. I read this in one sitting and I was so impressed, and it is one of the best books I read this year. Then I finally started reading The Big Tomb that Morgan's been urging me to read for ages now, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. I read both that one and The Wise Man's Fear in like a week or so because I was so wrapped up in it. I didn't finish The Wise Man's Fear though for a while because I wanted to make it last, because we don't have the third book in the Killer Chronicles yet. But they are so good. It's about Quoth, and he is retelling his life, and he's had an exciting life. It's fantasy with an amazingly built up world. I'm really late to the party because most people read this book years ago and I started now, but I love it, and I fell completely headlessly in love with Bast, who's not really that much. I did make a video about these books and I'll link that up somewhere. I don't know what side it is on, I'm confused now, I'm always confused. Then I read The Crucible by Arthur Miller, which is a play. It's a play that I've heard a lot about, and I'm surprised that I haven't read it until now, actually. It's about the Salem witch trials, but it's also a criticism, satire, contemporary critique of the McCarthyism and the communist hunt in the US. And the exciting thing about this play is that he has inserted his own notes about the characters, their historical accuracy, and some about how it relates to present time when he was writing it in the 1950s. It was good, it's a really good play, it's a strong play, and if you don't usually like to read plays, you might like this one because of the author's notes. Then I read Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut. Now, this is a book that people have told me to read. My father has told me to read since I was like 14, and I finally did. It is about the Dresden bombings, Second World War, and the aftermath, but it's also some science fiction elements into it. It's not written in chronologically. That's a hard word for a poor old Norwegian. You know what I mean. So it's a bit here and there, and then he time travels a bit, and it's just weird. Personally, I wasn't a big fan of this book because I wasn't too fond of this style of writing. The sentences are very short. The repetitions were fine, but they got a bit, tiring. But I can understand that when this book was published, it was something new, something fresh, something weird. It still is weird, let's be honest. But it wasn't my cup of tea. Then, you see, I got myself a Kindle Unlimited. It's Amazon's library service where I pay about a month and I can download books to my Kindle and read them for free. It's not free because I pay a monthly fee, but it's not a lot. But they have a lot of weird books there. They don't have many big books. They have many big books, but they're mostly quite underground, weird ones. And there was a book that was suggested to me because I've read Dracula and The Name of the Wind, and it was called Shade of Vampire by Bella Forrest. I read this I downloaded it, and like, oh, vampires fun, ooh, and it had quite a few good ratings. And I started reading it, so like, it's not too good, is it? The writing is a bit off here. And then it continued, and it was a lot of insta-love, it was a lot of cliches, you know, the whole girl meets vampire, vampire falls in love, other vampire wants to kill girl, girl seems to be strong. It's very weird that people fall in love with this girl because she's so common. It's like, yes. It has 3.84 on Goodreads. I gave it 1. I hated this book. And then I also found out that it was part of a series with like so many books. I think it's like 27 books. That's what I can find on Goodreads. So, as you can imagine, they are easy. As in, the writing isn't very good. And I can handle not perfect writing if the story's good, but this is just plain boring. And I think it's just, my heart broke a bit because people read these things and they like it, and then I got sad. Not because the writing's bad per se, or because it's a typical youngling romance, what a word, more because it's so... it doesn't challenge anyone, ever. It's not written well. It's a story that's just a mix of old, equally as bad stories with some mythical, historical elements in it. And that's about it. Nothing happened. Did I mention that? Nothing happened. Like 250 pages, nothing happened. Guess that's why she needs about 30 books to get something to happen. And then we come to one of the best books I've read in ages, you know, with the other books. I read a lot of good books. These, in case you didn't notice, I like most of the books that I read this past spring. But The Immortal Friends by Jennifer Fallon. This book is part of the Tide Lord book series, and it is amazing. I know some people don't like it because it's too heavily filled with political issues. Now, I think that's good, because you have the LGBT community represented. There's races and racism and political prejudices and feminism, and you have that equally crammed in because it makes sense that everyone is sort of oppressed by the men on top, because it reflects the society. If one is oppressed, usually several are or have been. And it sort of asks questions about all of this. And it is fantasy. It's about gods. The Immortal Prince is naturally a god. And it's about the gods and humans and how they actually don't really live together. There's different narratives. You have Arcady, you have Warlock, who is half human, half dog. You have these gods, and it's good. I really like it, and because I couldn't find the second one in the series for my Kindle, I had to order it from the US, so that will be here around September. Oh, I just want it now. So if you want to have like good fantasy that's quite political, yay! Which most of them are, to be fair. Jennifer Fallon. How come I haven't read anything by her before? She's so good. Now, have you read any of the books that I've read? Do you feel the same as me? Do you? Don't you? Do you hate me now? Oh, sorry. Tell me what you've read, and if you have any recommendations for me, please let me know, especially if you read Jennifer Fallon and know her writing, and you know something that's similar, or something that are, you know, something I might like because I like her. Please do. Please comment, subscribe and like. Hopefully I will see you soon. Bye. Look at this. It's amazing. Beautiful.